Hey everybody, hope you're having an awesome day. Trying to adjust this little mic thing here so it's good. Hope you're having an awesome day. I know I am. So I thought I'd do something kind of different this morning. I was sitting around, I was drinking my bulletproof coffee this morning. You know, breakfast is one of my favorite times of day and favorite meals. I like to, especially on the weekends where you can kind of sit down and relax and just enjoy yourself. Maybe watch the news or maybe do nothing and just sit outside on the deck and watch the world go by. And it's getting to be nice weather here. They just opened up the pool yesterday. So the pool's open and we're getting up into some nice weather coming in. So I thought, well, what better to do for breakfast was than to do something I haven't done, and that is to make some donuts, right? So I thought I'd make some keto donuts. So that's the plan for today. Hopefully everything will go as planned. So really simple ingredients. I will tell you, so these donuts don't come out. These are more like a cakey type of donut, so because you're baking them. So you don't expect them to taste exactly like Dunkin' Donuts or Krispy Kremes or something. Although I do have some recipes for something a little bit more flaky and much closer to a donut, but it's much more involved. And for today's purposes, I thought that we would just make something really simple. I like easy things, as you'll see. So hopefully you'll like this and you'll enjoy it. All right, so we're going to start off with what I got here is I got 2 1/4 cups of almond flour that we're going to start off with. So that's going to be our base. We're going to put in, I got about 1 tablespoon of baking powder that we're going to put in. And then we got about a 1/2 cup of sweetener that we're putting in. So that's our dry ingredients that we're going to start off with. We're just going to mix them really well. Like I said, these are really simple ingredients. So you're just going to mix that up really well. Set that to a side for a little bit. Then we're going to mix up our wet ingredients. And I forget to get the eggs. They're over here. So I'm going to use 4 eggs. Now I will tell you, the recipe calls for room temperature eggs. It works better when they're room temperature. I didn't have room temperature, so I will tell you that the best trick you can do is you could take them, put them in a large bowl of hot water for a little while, and then change the water out once or twice. And that will help leave them in there for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then it will help bring the eggs up to room temperature. You just don't want the water too hot. You just want it hot so you can stick your hand in it, but not too hot. So I'm going to put the 4 eggs in here. Then after that, this is, I got to look at my, this is a 1/4 cup coconut milk that we're going to put in. So we're going to add a little bit of coconut milk into it. And then this is kind of a really weird one. This is 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Everybody talks about the benefits of apple cider vinegar. Then we're just going to mix all this up together. Like I said, this is pretty easy. And then we're going to blend the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients. I'm going to do this in a couple of phases. Hey, before we get too much further, can you do me a favor and like the video? Subscribe down below, hit that little bell icon. I'd really appreciate it. That would be great for the channel. That would be great to let YouTube know that you guys are watching it and that you like what you see. So they'll promote the channel so that we can do more and more of these. So again, you know, I don't get paid for any of this stuff. I'm not doing any promotions for anybody. So this is all free. I'm hoping you're enjoying it. You know, I'm doing this because I really like to help people. I like to see people get healthy and, and happy. And, you know, the more positive we all are, the the better the world is, right? Especially right now. So this is all mixed together. It looks pretty good. You'll see it has like a really soft, doughy consistency. Now I will tell you, this makes, unfortunately, I should say fortunately or unfortunately, this makes about 12 donuts. The unfortunate thing about this whole thing, oh, and I forgot to turn my oven on. So I got to turn my oven on to 350. Now the unfortunate thing is I only have one donut pan, so I can only make 6 at a time. So I'm going to make 6, and then I'll make the other 6 after these cool a little bit, and we'll see how that goes. So now that this is all mixed together, what we're going to do, we're actually going to, it's great if you have a, what do they call it, a pastry thing to squeeze the donuts out into the donut pan. Makes it a lot easier. I forget what they call that thing. I don't have one. So, you know, poor man's option, put it in a bag, and then we'll squeeze them in. So we'll get enough in here to do the 6, and then we'll get the 6 in the oven and get that going. Once we get all 12 of them done, then we'll go through and we're going to make chocolate frosting to go on top of them. And we'll go through that, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, there's everything in the bag. I'm gonna put some on the outside. So that's everything in the bag. So what I'm gonna do right now is all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a corner of this, and I'm just gonna cut the corner off of the Ziploc bag. And of course I don't have my scissors. So we'll get some scissors. I'll cut the corner off. And voila, we have our own little pastry. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna squeeze it in here. I will tell you, if you don't do the bag, it will make a little bit of a mess. All right, so this is kind of what they look like. In a second, and I'm gonna try to get some of this, the rest of this out of this bag. All right, so that's everything in the bag. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. You can kind of see the consistency. I think that's pretty good. So you're just going to see that that's how it looks like in the donut pan. As it heats up, it will actually kind of melt and kind of settle in, and when they come out, Now I do have a pretty good non-stick pan, and if you're not careful, if you have an older pan or not a non-stick pan, you may want to make sure you grease them good so that the donuts pop right out. So it's not quite up to heat yet. So another minute. Again, these, when we're cooking them, let's just kind of real quick, like I'll include in the recipe, because you can use a couple different glazes. I'm going to use the chocolate glaze on there, but I will also include in the recipe how to make a clear glaze to go on them as well. So you can make, also included in the recipe, because you can make these as chocolate. So all you're doing is just adding a little bit of cocoa powder to the recipe if you want to make them chocolate. So I will include that in the recipe. So as an option, you can make them either this way, plain, or you can have them as chocolate donuts, whichever you would prefer and whichever you think you would like better. Or you can try them both ways. Hey, if you do try these and you try the chocolate ones or the regular ones, let me know down below in the comments and kind of tell me what you think. Again, the other one that I have, the other recipe I have, it's much more like a pastry than it is. Than this, and so you got to be really careful, because like any pastry, it will fall. So maybe next time, if you like these ones and you'd like to see some of the other ones, I do have a couple of other recipes. So I'm going to put this on for, again, I'm going to put this on for about 15 minutes, and we'll see how they come out. Put the timer on. All right, and then we'll come back and we'll check them out in about 15 minutes. So the oven just beeped, so I think they're ready. So let's see what they look like. I did have to leave them in for a few extra minutes, just so you know. They smell good. So that's kind of what they look like. They feel nice. So we'll let them sit there for about 5 or 10 minutes, cool down a little bit, then we'll pop them out of there. And then we'll make the frosting and show you how to frost them so they look even yummier. All right, so let's see you in a couple minutes. So I thought I'd start off just a little bit, just because I know it looks funny in the pan, but this is what they actually end up looking like. So when you take them out, so that's the side up, and that's the side that's down in the pan. So they really do. They look like donuts. They feel like donuts, right? So they're cool enough now. So we're gonna make the chocolate frosting. That's what I'm gonna use. So and all it is I'm using some of this Swerve confectionery sugar. Right here. Hold on a second. I gotta. Okay. I got too many things going on here. So if you don't know, I changed my setup. I used to have a printout of the menu, and what I've done now is I'm trying to save on paper. So I'm using my laptop, and I have it up there, and I was actually pulling up another recipe because I'm going to try to cook something else here in a little bit. So I was off the page. So this is 3/4 of a cup of the confectionery sugar. Sorry about that. So I just put it in here. And then this is 2 tablespoons of cocoa that I'm going to put in there, and that will give it the chocolate flavor and the taste. Right. So I'm going to mix this together a little bit just to kind of get the sugar and the cocoa mixed together, and then we're going to add some wet ingredients to it. All right, so it's pretty mixed still. So I'm going to use, you can use butter, you can use whatever you want. I used some ghee So I'm going to mix in the ghee. This is 1 tablespoon of ghee, but you can use 1 tablespoon of butter if that's what you prefer. Then this is a tablespoon of vanilla. We're going to add that in there as well. Mix that in a little bit. Now I will tell you, so this is not much, so you want to make this pretty thick because you want it to be, and this is a little bit of coconut milk. You can use almond milk, you can use cashew milk, you can use any of the milk you want. So I'm going to use a little bit of this. I'm going to add it in a little bit at a time, and it's really going to be to texture. So I'm not going to give you an amount to do that to. I actually have some more off to the side if I run out. I actually used this in a recipe that that I had, so I had some leftover coconut milk from that recipe. So I said, oh, I'm going to use it in this. I know there's a couple different ways that you can get this chocolate frosting as well. I know that if you melt down like a Billy's chocolate bar or something of that nature, that would work as well. Put a little bit of sweetener in it, or use some baker's chocolate. So there's a couple different ways to do this. I chose to do this one just because to me it's much better. So you want this consistency to come out, and you want it thick, but you want it, how do I say this? So you want it thick, but it's kind of like a frosting. So you can see what it looks like. It's actually holding on. So you may want it just a little bit thinner than that. Maybe not much, but just a little bit. You know, you want it thick enough so that it will stick to the donuts, but you also want it thin enough so that you can dip the donuts in it. All right, I think this is pretty good. So what we're going to try to do is try to make sure we get these covered good. We're going to take the donut, we're going to take them and just simply put them in there. Didn't come out the way I'd like it to. I guess this maybe needs to be a little bit thinner. So it was a little too thick. So I'm going to pour the rest of that in there. We're going to mix it in, make it a little bit thinner. Like I say, if you like the donut recipes or you like the breakfast recipes for alternative breakfasts, I know you get tired of eating bacon and eggs sometimes, and especially on long weekends. You got the weekend coming up for Easter weekend, Good Friday. So for us, that's a long weekend. Not sure what we're doing, if anything. So let's try this again. Oh yeah, see? So it comes out. And maybe we even put a little bit on the top here just to kind of spread it out a little bit. I don't want to make it much thinner than that. So that's what it's going to look like. Again, you don't want to put these on when they're too warm, because of the fact that if they're too warm, it will just melt right off of them. Now that one dipped a lot better. Tastes good. The frosting tastes good. I will tell you that the recipe says it will make 12. It only made 6. I don't think my donut pan is bigger than anybody else's, but all right, so that's all of them I have right now. Again, I'm going to show you what they look like, if I can get them not to slide off the pan. So that's what they look like. So not too bad. I think they're pretty good looking. So for appearance, they look like donuts. Let's take one, and we're going to do the taste test, and then we'll go through the macros on them real quick like. Now I got to tell you, you're baking these, so they're not going to be light and crispy like you would from a fried donut. So because they're a baked donut, so they have a more of a consistency, a very light, airy baking cake recipe or something like that. They're actually really, really good. They are really, really good. They're a real good a replacement for them. The chocolate this chocolate is actually really, really good. This frosting. Again, you could do anything with this. If you want to just put some drill a little bit of butter on them, and then put some confectionery sugar on the top of them, sprinkle it on there, would be good. I also will include a recipe for some glaze. So just like the clear sugary glaze on them, you can do that way. I'm going to scroll down on my laptop to the macros, and then we'll go over that. So I'll give you a couple different recipes, a couple different glazes that you can put on it. And again, if you just mix cocoa to the donut mix when you're making the donuts, instead of being plain donuts, they can be chocolate donuts, and you can make double chocolate or whatever you want. But they are really, really good. So I'm gonna have another cup of coffee, and I think and finish that one I took the bite out of here when I get done. So just to go through this, serving size is 1 donut. Calories is about 150. Carbohydrates, there's 5 carbs per donut. Now this is just a donut, does not include the frosting, although the frosting is probably less than 1 as well. Protein, there's 7 grams of protein in one of these, 13 grams of fat, so it has a good fat content. Again, I use the ghee because I like the ghee better than butter. Ghee is, just like I said, they've taken all the milk solids out of it, so there's a couple of advantages to it. You don't have to refrigerate it. It's healthier for you because you're taking the milk solids out. So it's also good for cooking, because the cooking point on this, I think, is 485 degrees, where butter is like around 350. So for baking and any of that information, you can kind of look up ghee and look for it. You can make it yourself. I've never made it myself. I buy it at Costco. It's pretty cheap. And then fiber, there's 3 fibers in these. So, you minus so 5 total carbs minus the 3 fiber. So the net carbs are actually 2. Now that does not include the minusing the sugar alcohols out of it. So it's probably closer to 1, but I'm going to say that it's 2 net carbs right now, because that's what I know for sure. I don't know what the sugar alcohol content is. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, you like seeing more of this stuff, please, down below, subscribe, hit that little bell icon, make sure you like the video. I'll try to give you more of this stuff. Hopefully this is a good treat. I have some more stuff coming up. On the weekends, I try to film a couple extra, because during the week, we have a lot of stuff going on at work right now, so we kind of tend to get a little busy at work. Hopefully this is good. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thumbs up, subscribe, bell icon. Really appreciate it. Hope you have an awesome day, and I know that you guys are awesome. All right, I will be talking to you later.